beast! Ah!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Megs.
And this week we watched 2013's The Frozen Ground. It stars Nicolas Cage and John Cusak. In an Anchorage motel room in 1983, 17-year-old Cindy Paulson, played by Vanessa Hudgens, is handcuffed and screaming for help. She is rescued by an Anchorage Police Department patrol officer. He takes Paulson to the hospital, and her clothes are kept for a rape kit. At an APD station, she explains to the detectives that she was kidnapped and raped. Because she is a prostitute and lying about her age, the detectives do not believe her story, refusing to even look at the man whom she named as her abductor, Robert Hansen, played by John Cusak. They claim Hansen is an upstanding member of society, a family man who owns his own restaurant with alibis from 3 people. An APD patrol officer who rescued Paulson is outraged that the detectives refused to pursue Hansen. He surreptitiously photographs information about the case and sends it to the Alaska State Troopers. Meanwhile, State Trooper Jack Halcombe, played by Nicolas Cage, has been called to investigate a female body that was found in the bush, half-eaten by bears. The police connect the case to other missing girls who have disappeared after going to what they thought were legitimate photo shoots. With secret information from the APD officer, Halcombe connects the other cases to Paulson's and begins constructing a profile of Hansen. Paulson details how Hansen kept her captive and that she escaped from his car when he tried to transfer her to his bush plane. Meanwhile, in Anchorage, Debbie Peters gets picked up by a man in an RV for a photo shoot. Later, Hansen eats a quiet dinner at home. His wife and children are away, and Hansen relaxes in his trophy room, casually ignoring Peters, who is chained to a post. She is urinated on the floor, and as she cleans up the mess with a towel, Hansen's neighbor enters the house with a plate of food. Hansen warns Peters not to scream and leaves the trophy room to greet his neighbor. Hansen then takes Peters to the airport, where he orders her into his plane. After landing in a remote spot in the bush, Hansen frees Peter, letting her run in a panic through the woods before he shoots her with a .223 caliber rifle. He steals her necklace before finishing her off with a handgun. Halcombe has a very difficult time assembling a case against Hansen. Because the evidence is circumstantial and Paulson is afraid to testify, the district attorney refuses to issue a search warrant. Paulson keeps falling back into the world of stripping and prostitution despite Halcombe's efforts to keep her safe. At a strip club, while she is trying to sell lap dances, she notices Hansen trawling for a new victim. Their eyes meet, a chase ensues, and Paulson barely escapes. The encounter makes Hansen nervous, and he hires Carl Galinski to find and kill Paulson. Carl approaches Paulson's erstwhile pimp Clayt Johnson, played by 50 Cent, and offers to forgive his sizable debt if Clayt turns Paulson over to him. Halcombe stakes out Hansen's house, causing Hansen to panic. Hansen gathers the evidence of his crimes, including the keepsakes from his victims, and flees with his son to the airport. Despite dangerous flying conditions, he flies his plane to the bush and hides his keepsakes. Feeling that the chance to catch Hansen is slipping away, and with the victim count now at 17 girls, Halcombe faces the DA to issue a warrant. The search of Hansen's house yields no evidence, not even his trophy room. Hansen agrees to be interrogated without a lawyer, but he is not yielding any new evidence. Halcombe arrests Hansen, but unless the police find new evidence, they will be unable to hold him. Halcombe orders a second search of Hansen's house, which turns up a hidden cache of guns, including the .223 caliber rifle used in many of the murders. Under police watch at a safe location, Paulson slips away and returns to her life of prostitution. Clayt delivers her to Carl. When Clayt attempts to rob Carl, Paulson uses the opportunity to escape, with Carl in pursuit after killing Clayt. After making a call to Halcombe, Paulson is almost killed by Carl, but Halcombe rescues her just in time. Halcombe uses a bracelet identical to the one worn by one of the victims to trick Hansen into thinking the police have found the evidence he'd hidden in the bush. The bracelet, combined with the sight of Paulson in the interrogation room, enrages Hansen to the point that he incriminates himself. The epilogue states that Hansen confessed to the murders of 17 women, and the kidnappings and rapes of another 30. He was charged with the abduction and rape of Cindy Paulson and the murders of Joanna Messina, Cheryl Morrow, Paula Golding, and Eklutna Annie. He was sentenced to 461 years plus life without parole. The film ends with a dedication to and photographs of Hansen's victims. And I guess we should have said this up at the top, but this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
So, Megan,
Yeah.
what did you think of this movie?
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting anything. I actually was expecting to not like it, just based on the things that I had read about it. I was like, I don't even gonna like this movie. And I didn't really, like, super enjoy this movie, but it's not bad. It's not a bad movie.
I actually really liked it. I thought it builds its tension really well. I thought the performances were fantastic. I thought Vanessa Hudgens was great. I wasn't expecting much either, and I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah. It's a very, like, hard-boiled detective story. It's played that way. I did look a little bit into the killer himself, and, like, it's horrific, just some of the stuff. And, like, Eklutna Annie was, I guess they believed, an indigenous woman, and she was found, but they couldn't ID her. So that's just, like a quote unquote. But yeah, there are 17 bodies that he confessed to making, but they were only able to ever, like, recover 11 of them. It's really gross and awful true crime. And this is also taking place, like,
in the early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. When, I mean, really, like, they're only real, like, proof stuff at that point. Like, their hard proof thing is fingerprints. I think DNA was still very early stages then. They had it, but, like, a lot of the bodies that Bob buried had no fingerprints. He, like, cut them off. And, like, he specifically left them in areas where he knew that, like, predatory animals or scavengers would find them and eat them. Just awful. But I really enjoyed Nicolas Cage's performance. Yeah. I thought that it's so wholesome. We rarely get to see him in roles where he is just a wholesome dude. There's no conflict in his mind about anything. He doesn't have, like, a seedy past that he's trying to make up for with his good works. Like, he's just a wholesome guy. Like, he's a state trooper, lifelong. And, like, he and his wife are actually planning to leave because it's a lot. It's a lot of stress to do the kind of job that he does.
I did love the beginning when he's like, I'm not the one to take this on. This is my last 2 weeks. And I wrote the note, not his last 2 weeks.
Not his last 2 weeks. Yeah, it was a really good performance by him. I enjoyed Vanessa Hudgens' performance as well. It reminded me a lot of her performance from another movie that she was in called Polar with Mads Mikkelsen, which was also kind of a dark sort of thriller kind of situation. Like, in a way that I was, like, surprised by her. So it's I enjoyed the movie more than I expected that I would. And I enjoyed Nicolas Cage's performance way more than I expected that I would.
What would you rate this movie?
I feel like it's a very middle of the road kind of movie, but I also really enjoyed it. So I feel like I want to give it a B.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Was
a
B.
What would you give the caginess of it?
I'm with you. I think this is one of his stronger roles because he's not conflicted and it's very straightforward. I want to give him an A.
I could agree with that. I did also want to just give a quick shout out to all of our Hey, It's That guys from this movie because there were quite a few of them. Dean Norris, who, he's been in a bunch of stuff, but a lot of people kind of just know him from Breaking Bad. He was the Walter White's brother-in-law, the DEA agent. Brad William Henke, who played Carl Galensky. He's a Hey, It's That guy. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Usually, like, his typecast is kind of like the dumb mob guy. Kevin Dunn, who's been in a ton of stuff. 50 Cent, also in this movie. He also co-produced this movie, which is kind of amazing.
Did you catch that Bob's wife is the nurse from The Pit?
Yeah. She was actually my next person. So yes, she is, her name is Catherine Lanasa. She played Fran Hansen. And she is another Hey, It's That guy. And she also was really good. So yeah, there were a few Hey, It's That guys. this takes place in Anchorage, Alaska, and it's just dark like all the time. And like there's a lot of good dialogue in this movie. I think that John Cusak was surprised. I mean, like, he's always good. It's never really a surprise that he's good, but the way that he swapped back and forth between being like when he was like in police custody or like when he was on the phone trying to like figure out if this girl that he saw at the strip club was in fact Cindy, one of his victims. He's a completely different person than he is when he's feeling confident in his everyday life, when he's doing like the facade that he puts on like with his wife and like at his job and stuff like that. When he's with the women, his victims, he's very confident. But when he's around authority, he's very meek, very sheepish. He stutters. I think that John Cusak did an amazing job there. And I was surprised at how good it was, I guess. But it's also surprising when he's the bad guy, because he's never the bad guy.
Yeah, I had that thought too. Well, there you have it, folks. I think that's going to do it for us this week. But we have a B movie with an A Nicolas Cage rating. If you're following along, as always, we are on social media on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We are on YouTube at Not the Bees Pod. If you love us enough to give us money, we're on patreon.com/notthebees. But that's going to do it for us this week. I've been Elizabeth.
And I've been Megs.
And we'll see you next time, kids.